What I love about the Hong Kong style crispy chow mein is that it's crispy on the outside with tender noodles on the inside. And when you pour that sauce right over top, everything gets absorbed into all the noodles. And when you take a bite, you get a little bit of tender noodle with a little bit of crispy noodle with all the sauce, and you can just slurp it all up. Hey everyone, I'm Flo, Dude is behind the camera, and we need to get this chow mein started. So there's 2 pounds in this bag. I'm only using 1. I'm gonna blanch it in a hot boiling water for 30 seconds. And I need to do that right now because my water's boiling. We're so fortunate living in Vancouver where we get freshly made noodles. These I was able to find at the Asian market, and there are a number of different brands, but a lot of them are local. So if you can, get fresh chow mein noodles. Otherwise, I have no idea what chow mein noodles look like otherwise. I am showing this to you because I'm not sure you believe me that I only used half a bag, which is 2 pounds, and this is 1 pound of noodles. I can't even believe that. There's a lot of noodles here.
We better be hungry. Who's coming over?
I have about a pound of chicken here. These are boneless, skinless thighs, and I'm going to slice them up into strips. There's about six thighs here. So you know what, you guys can cut it however you want, but I'm going to cut them into strips. We are adding 1 tablespoon of soy sauce. Oh, this is the chicken, by the way, just in case there was some misunderstanding. 1 tablespoon of Shaoxing wine. And if you don't have Shaoxing wine, you can use a cooking sherry, or what we've used to substitute in many of our recipes is bourbon, and it works really well, or you can use whiskey, something along that line. 1 tablespoon of oyster sauce. 2 teaspoons of sugar. About a tablespoon of cornstarch. And I'm just going to let this marinate while we get the rest of the ingredients going and the noodles going. You know, I have to say that I'm really surprised at all the people who had left comments in the last video for char siu that they agreed with me that the best char siu they've ever had was in Malaysia. And that makes Dude super happy. While the chicken is marinating, prepare the rest of your ingredients. I have 3 slices of ginger. I've just left the skin on. Just make sure that you clean it really well around the skin if you're going to use it to cook. I am using 1/4 of a really large onion. So I would say maybe just a very small onion or half of a medium onion. We're just going to slice that up. In Chinese cooking, you have to have all your ingredients ready to go because the cooking part of it actually goes really fast. I have 2 cloves of garlic that I'm going to mince, or press actually. And 2 green onions. So what I've been doing is actually planting these ends in the garden, and I've been getting new green onion. So that's what I'm going to do with those. But just cut the rest of the green onion into about 2-inch lengths. I am also adding bean sprouts to my chow mein, and I've already rinsed this. And you can use whatever vegetables you want, but I'm just trying to keep it real simple. And this is how we like to eat it in the restaurants. In Vancouver, we're used to having Hong Kong style chow mein, which is basically a crispy chow mein. So when we were living in San Francisco and we would order chow mein and it would come soggy, we were like, what is this? Why is there no crispy texture to it? And then it dawned on us that it's because it's a Hong Kong style dish that in Vancouver we have lots of Hong Kong style cafes and noodle houses but in SF, there were not so many. Traditionally, to get the noodles crispy, it is deep fried in a whole lot of oil, or you can also pan fry it in a frying pan on the stove. But what I'm going to do today is use the air fryer to crisp out the noodles. And we like it just crispy on the outside with still some tender noodles on the inside. And then the sauce just gets poured over top and soaks right into your noodles. So that's what we're going for today. Because there's so much noodles, I am going to do this in 2 batches because my air fryer is tiny. So you know what I'm going to do first is maybe spritz some oil on it first.
You need to get a new...
I know, seriously, this thing, well, it's still better than pouring oil.
Misto, if you guys are hearing this or watching this,
You need to send me a new mister. I'm going to put half of it into the air fryer, kind of upside down, I guess, since I oiled the side. All right, and then I'm going to mist it again. Not really mist. I'm going to drizzle some oil over top. And let's put this in at 400. Oops. For 5 minutes. And see how that goes. So it actually took 10 minutes in the air fryer at 400 degrees, and it is looking nice and crispy. Look at that. And that's what you want. So I'm gonna remove this and put it in the toaster oven just to keep warm while I do the second batch. And what we decided to do for you was to do it in the frying pan to show you how to use a frying pan instead of the air fryer. Oh, yummy.
wow,
perfect.
that is very reminiscent of restaurant style.
Yeah, without having to deep fry. That gets pretty close. And you'll be using a lot less oil using the air fryer. When I'm doing this in the frying pan, you guys are all going to be appalled at how much oil I use. We're just using a 10-inch cast iron frying pan. We'll heat that up, adding 3 tablespoons of vegetable oil. We're gonna let that cook for a few minutes until it's golden brown on the bottom. Okay, so just 2 minutes on the other side, and it is crisping up at the bottom, but I think what happened was that I didn't have enough oil in here, which is probably why people deep fry it. Okay.
Even more oil.
See, air fryer is probably better for you. There, you can see a little bit of the bottom. See how this was in the middle, so this is like super tender, while there's like all this crispiness on the outside. Yummy. All right, turning my frying pan back on, and 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil.
You may think you're using a ton of oil, but compared to the restaurants, this is nothing.
Oh yeah, for sure. Cooking my chicken first. This, I would actually prefer using a wok. You can see all the oil splattering everywhere. I'm just gonna take it off the heat into another bowl. Actually, I forgot about my ginger. Anyways, we'll add ginger now, along with the onions. Okay, I'm just adding a little bit of oil because it looks a little bit dry to me. Okay, adding garlic. Stir fry it for another 30 seconds until the garlic is fragrant. Adding the chicken back in. Adding the bean sprouts. I have 1 cup of chicken broth here, or chicken stock. I'm just using better than bouillon, so I'm wanting this bouillon to dissolve. I'm turning down the heat. Just try to scrape off the little bits at the bottom of your pan if you can. And thicken up the sauce by dissolving 2 teaspoons of cornstarch with about a tablespoon of water. Turn that into a slurry. Make sure you dissolve cornstarch in cold water because otherwise you'll end up with a lumpy mess. And pour that in, stir it around. Sauce will thicken.
Wow, the smells, the aroma, amazing.
Yeah, it smells so good. And just add your green onions at the end. And turn off the heat. Once your sauce is thickened, you heat it through. And we're going to pour this over the noodles. Okay, I'm just going to remove the 3 giant slices of ginger. You can leave them in. Maybe some people will want to eat them, but I'm taking them out. I just wanted them there for a bit of flavor. Okay, we'll just pour this all over the top. Oh, it looks and smells so good.
I can't believe you haven't done a fried noodle recipe for your audience.
I know. I don't know why it's taking so long. All right, you guys, are you ready for?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. The taste. Never before in the history of the taste have I ever been so hungry. Well, this batch came out of the air fryer. I wasn't sure because it didn't have the obvious brown marks, and I guess you could theoretically put it in for a longer time. But I love the way it came out in the basket. It was nicely formed and it stayed that way, kind of like a giant noodle pancake, soft in the middle. And with the frying pan version, yeah, you definitely got the obvious, it's still crispy, but you know what? It's a different kind of crispy, and I'll tell you why. This is my theory, is that the amount of oil, it just kind of soaks in and it makes it softer, whereas the air fryer with minimal oil just gets it crispy. So let's try the frying pan version first. Don't need a whole lot. Whoa. Dude, so good. The great textures of onion, bean sprout, crispy noodles, and the chicken done just right. It's time for the air fryer version. Oh, it's a different kind of crispy, guys. It is actually a lot closer to what we get in the restaurants here. The outer edges maintain the crispiness, and here's the softer part that has taken on more of the gravy in the middle. Given the taste of both the pan fried and the air fryer texture, I think it goes to the air fryer, and also probably less oil consumption to make the noodles. So the crunch was obvious. I don't know if you can hear the difference. There's some crispy bits on the pan fried version, but it's uniformly crispy on the air fryer. So I think you got a winner here.
Awesome.
So good.
Thanks, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I did take a bite of each, and I do have to agree that the air fryer one, yep, the noodles are crispy and it's a great version, and I love the presentation of the air fryer noodles. But the pan-fried ones, it has an extra smokiness from the cast iron pan. It's got extra flavor from the oil that is soaked into all the noodles. So I don't know, guys, let me know in the comments below. Try them both. Let me know which one you like better. This recipe is definitely going into the new cookbook coming out, hopefully this summer. For more easy recipes, check them out, and I will see you over there.